Everyone has heard of the Bigfoot, the giant Sasquatch that stalks the northwestern woods of Washington, D.C. The question on everyone's mind is, does a beast like that truly exist, or is it just a myth? We are not here to claim whether or not Bigfoot is a real entity, but to share with you a couple of tales about this terrifying monster. I must warn you that the events we are about to share may be distressing to some audiences. Those of you who are afraid of supernatural creatures may find this podcast disturbing. Our first encounter with Bigfoot comes from Jade Sanders, a deer hunter who claimed to have been attacked by this monster during the spring of 1987. She was shooting her gun into the forest, aiming for wild animals that were on her husband's to be hunted list. She had two partners with her, her husband Derek and her teenage son Peter, who was only 16 years old at the time. They always worked together as a family. Derek started his own butchery in 1973 and had been hunting down his own stock since. Peter was poised to take over the business after Derek's retirement. He had been training since he was 9 years old and already knew all the ins and outs of running the company. However, as you're about to learn, this plan could never come to be. Peter shot a large woolly animal. It roared fiercely and charged towards them, storming into full sight. Derek and Jade first thought this was a bear, but it was much larger in size, standing upright like that of a human. Jade described the beast as ugly and threatening, with a scarred snout and red eyes. It was like some walking devil, although coated in brown fur. Derek and Jade shot the monster wildly, but it shrugged the bullets off like rain. It soon clawed Peter to bloody pieces, while his parents cried in terror, unable to stop the terrifying monstrosity. Derek charged in and soon met the same fate, while Jade fled into the woods and away from the monster. She hasn't gone hunting since. Our second encounter comes from John Matthews, a British ghost hunter who visited a Bigfoot sighting location during the year of 2004. This was when paranormal investigation shows were a huge hit, and he wanted a piece of that attention for his own ongoing blog on the subject of Orban Legends. John has a large collection of evidence to share about his encounters, most of which are video logs where he describes his adventures to the camera, as well as podcasts and written updates on his website, Orban Legends. Although sometimes he does capture footage of these paranormal events, but they are always out of focus and incredibly blurry. He claims to have snapped a shot of Bigfoot's face when discovering the beast for himself. You can barely make out the red eyes and gigantic fangs upon its brown, leathery face. This picture is frightening, although certainly speculative. However, it is his story that disturbs us the most. John describes following huge bloody footprints, far larger than those of a human, yet somehow shaped almost exactly like our very own. There were trickles of blood following behind them, which strongly implied the beast had caught prey to eat. John was careful enough not to alert the beast, as he stalked it into a dark corner of the forest. He almost screamed because Bigfoot was feasting upon a human head. Thankfully, John held his breath and dared to snap a photo, but simply winding the camera caused the monster to stir and charge for him instantly. That's when John took the photo. However, he was soon clawed across the face, leaving him permanently scarred, both physically and mentally. John's scar has become a grotesque sight, permanent mark across his eyes. He always tells everyone it was Bigfoot who did this to him. Although John has been known to exaggerate the truth, we seriously doubt he'd ever purposely scar himself like this, just for a story. The forests where Bigfoot is supposedly sighted are a dark, foreboding place to be. Whether or not you believe in Bigfoot is unimportant. Dangers lurk within these woods, so it would be wise to never dare venture into the unknown.